Hi CCC family, it's Dawn Marie with Custom Comfy Crochet, and today we're going to learn how to make these really cute granny square pouches. They could be called motif pouches because they have the flowers on them, whatever you want to call them, but basically you're turning a flower into a granny square. You're making two of those, you're putting them together, and you're making a pouch. This works up really quick. I'm going to go really slow for beginners, so I would definitely deem this a beginner friendly video. So yeah, this is going to be lots of fun. So let's get into our materials, but I do want to ask you first to please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notify me bell button below so you can get notified of my future videos if you haven't already. And please share. Sharing helps more than anything, and I appreciate it so much, guys. So on to our materials. For our materials today, I am using cotton yarns. I use Peaches and Cream, your basic Peaches and Cream cotton yarn. I also used a 5mm hook, which is what this cotton yarn calls for. You will also need a pair of scissors and a darning needle. If you're really new to crochet, a stitch marker might help you as well along with this, but you don't have to have it. Okay, so let's get into the project. Oh, one more thing. You will also need a bead. These are just really large wooden beads that I got, but all it does is it goes out like this, and then your bag can open just like that, and then it just closes like that. Really easy, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so let's get into our project. So we're going to pull out our yellow cotton yellow yarn here, and we're going to make a magic circle. If for any reason you don't know how to do any of the stitches that we're working on in this video, I would encourage you to look at my beginner friendly video that is below for crochet. Okay, so we're going to make this magic circle, and we'll pull it down just like that, and then we're going to chain one, and that chain one really doesn't count for anything. It's just giving the height that we need to start. And then we're going to work into this magic circle, and we're going to do 2 double crochets together. So I'm going to go making like a normal crochet, a double crochet. I'm going to go through 2, and then I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to yarn over, go back in, pull up, go through 2, then I have 3 loops on my hook, and I'm going to go through all 3 loops just like that. So that's how you double crochet 2 together. Then you're going to chain 2, and you're going to do that again. You're going to double crochet 2 together. So go back in the circle like you're going to make a double crochet, go through 2, then yarn over, go back into the circle, pull up, go through 2, then you have 3 loops, go through all 3. Then you're going to chain 2 again. Then you're going to yarn over, go into the circle, pull up, go through 2, yarn over, go back in the circle, pull up, go through 2 again. Then you're left with 3, go through all 3. One more time, chain 2, yarn over, go into your circle, pull up, go through 2, yarn over, go back into the circle, pull up, go through 2. You have 3 loops left on your hook, go through all 3. So you need 8 of these clusters all the way around, okay? So go ahead and do those 8, and I'll meet you back up in just a minute. So after you finished your 8th little grouping here, we're going to remember to chain 2. And then when we go to close, we're not going to go into this chain 1 here. We're going to go into this first stitch right here. So if you look on the side, for every one of these, we've got a stitch right there, we've got a stitch right here, we've got a stitch right here. So we're going to go into this stitch right here and slip stitch it together. Just like that. Then you can pull tight. Remember, you're using cotton yarn, so when you go to pull your magic circle, it's going to be a little harder than if you were using acrylic yarn or another softer yarn. Okay, and then it looks like this. It's not a perfect circle. It might look a little funky. That's okay. It's going to turn out beautiful. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut off, and we're going to bring in another color. So I'm going to leave enough to work in. And then you're just going to pull through just like that. we're going to be working into these chain 2 spaces that we made. Okay, so I want to bring it in over here actually, because I want it to be close to where I left this piece so I can work it in as I go along. You don't have to work in your ends as you go. You can just sew them all in later, but I'm going to work over them. So I'm going to bring in this blue yarn right here. Now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And that's going to count, because of where I brought this in as well, that's going to count as my first treble crochet. So now I'm going to do 4 more trebles into this chain 2 space. So I'm going to yarn over twice, go back into this chain 2 space, pull up, go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. Then I'm going to do that again, yarn over twice over my hook, go through my chain 2 space, pull up, go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. And again, and go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. And then we need one more. Go through 2, go through 2, go through 2. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trebles. So we're going to pull up your loop right there. You're going to take your hook and you're going to go into the top of this first chain of 3 you did, and you're going to go right into the top of that with your hook. Then you're going to pull this loop onto your hook, and you're going to pull that loop right through just like that to make a little bobble. Then you're going to chain 3 just like this, and then you're going to go into your next chain 2 space, and you're going to do the same thing again. You're going to work 5 trebles, so working around your hook twice, go into your chain 2 space, pull up, go through 2, go through 2, go through 2, and again, and again, and again. And now you have 5 trebles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull up your loop, go into the top of your first treble right there, pull the loop back onto your hook, and then pull it through right there. Then you're going to chain 3. And then we'll do that again, yarn over twice, and go and put 5 trebles into your next chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then pull up your loop, go into the top of your first treble, then go back into your loop with your hook, pull through, and then chain 3. Just like that. And then you're going to keep doing that in every chain 2 space all the way around until you have 8 petals. And then I'll come back in just a minute and I'll show you how to close it up. So we just worked our last petal here. And so we have 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now for each one of these, we've been chaining 3. And for this last one, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're only going to chain 2, and that's because when you work this last one here and you go to join it, there's just too much of a space there when you do the 3. Sometimes people like to double crochet into this to help. And that does help as well, but even that to me keeps too much of a gaping hole here. So I'm just going to chain 2 just like that, and then I'm going to go right here into the back of this stitch. So right into the back right there in the middle. If you don't get right in the middle, it's okay. Just try to find somewhere back there to work into. It doesn't really matter. But chaining 2 really makes this bring it together quite a bit more, okay? So that's just what I like to do for that. So then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to cut off, leaving enough to work in. I've worked in these other pieces over here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut those off. Again, if you're not comfortable with that, you can work them in more or not work over them at all. We will need to work this piece in at the end though, that is around our magic circle. Now we're going to bring in our green color after we chain one and close this, just like that. Now we're going to bring in our green and we're going to start on some leaves and start getting the bases for our granny square. Now you can pull in anywhere you want into our chain 3 places. I'm going to come right over here where I can work over this end here. So then I'm going to pull in my green yarn, just like this. Then I'm going to chain 2. That chain of 2 does count as our first double crochet. And then I'm going to put 3 more double crochets into here. 1 right into this chain space, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to make a bobble. So technically we have 4 because this counted as my first double crochet. So I'm going to go right into the top of that chain here, and I'm going to bring in my loop and make a little bobble, just like that. Then I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to go into my next chain space right here, my next chain 3, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 2 again. I'm going to go into my next chain 3 space, and then I'm going to do 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to pull up my loop. I'm going to go into my first double crochet at the very top, pull that loop back onto my hook, and pull through to make a bobble. Then I'm going to chain 3 because we're making a corner now. And then I'm going to repeat that again. I'm going to put 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to go right through the top of my first double crochet, put that loop back onto my hook, and pull it through, just like that. Then I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to go into my next chain space here, and I'm going to put 1 single crochet, chain 2, and 1 more single crochet all into that chain space. Then I'm going to chain 2 again, and now we're going to make another corner. So I'm going to go right into here and I'm going to make 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to turn that into a bobble. So I'm going to go right into my first double crochet, put that loop back onto my hook, pull through, and then chain 3. Then I'm going to put 4 more double crochets into that same chain space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm going to make another bobble. Then I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to go into my next chain space. I'm going to put a single crochet, chain 2, and another single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 2 again, and we're going to make another corner. So I'm going to put 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm going to make a bobble. Then I'm going to chain 3. Do 4 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to make another bobble. Then I'm going to chain 2, go into my next space right here, put 1 single crochet, chain 2, and 1 single crochet, and then I'm going to chain 2, and right here where we first started and we did our first bobble, we're going to add another one. So I'm going to go right into there, and I'm going to put 4 double crochets. So into the same space where we started with this first bobble, we're working into it again. So 2, 3, and 4 double crochets, make a bobble, chain 3, and right at the top of this bobble, we're going to join with a slip stitch, just like this. And it might look a little wonky, that's okay, because it's going to even out just fine when we start making this granny square. So we're going to turn this over, we're going to cut off, leaving enough to work in, and then you can just go ahead and pull this through, just like that. And then we're going to start right over here in this corner. You can really start wherever you want, like I said, but I just want to be close to where I'm going to work over this end. I'm going to bring this in. It's really off-white. I'm going to chain 3. That counts as my first double crochet. Then I'm going to put 2 more double crochets into this corner. Just like that. So we have 3 double crochets now, and now we're going to jump over to this chain space right here, this chain 2 space from our previous round, and we're going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to jump over to the middle of this right here where we did our chain 2 space here in the middle, and we're going to put 3 double crochets there. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to go right over here in between this right here and then this bobble here for our corner right in this chain 2 space, and we're going to work 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 across, okay? And now we're at our next corner, and we're going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain 3, and we're going to put 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then you're going to keep doing that all the way around, but I want to show you again. So after you do your corner, you're at this chain 2 space right here, and you're going to work 3 double crochets in this chain 2 space from before. 1, 2, and 3. And then you want to work in the middle of this chain 2 space right here and put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then you want to go right here into this chain 2 space and work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And then again, you're at a corner, and in this corner, you're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to chain 3 and work 3 more double crochets. So you're going to keep doing that all the way around, and when we get close to the end, I'll meet you back up in just a minute. Okay, so we've worked all the way around. We're on our last stitches here that we need to do, and so now we're back at this corner where we first started. And so we started with these 3 double crochets here, well, the chain 3 and the 2 double crochets. And so now we're going to go right into this chain space again, working where this one is as well. And we're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And then what we're going to do, because we want to start in this corner for our next round, we're actually going to join with a double crochet. So this is kind of different, especially if you're new to crochet. But what we're going to do is we're, instead of chaining to close, we're simply going to yarn over, go into the top of this chain of 3, pull our yarn through, go through 2, go through 2. Just doing a double crochet. And that's just a way to end a corner so that you can still start in the middle of that corner, okay? So now we're right here where we need to be, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then you're gonna go right back into this corner here, and you're going to put 2 more double crochets. Just like that. Then you're going to jump over into your next space. So now the way that we're working is we're working in between these groups of double crochets here. So we're going to be putting our next one here, the next one here, working in between them. So in between this next set, I'm going to put 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And then I'll be working in between these and putting 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And in between these right here, 1, 2, and 3. And then in between this one, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're back at a corner over here. So into the corner, we're going to put 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain 3 and put 3 more double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. In between these groupings of double crochets, you're going to put 3 double crochets. Then when you get to your corner, you're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. So I'm going to keep going around with mine. You keep going around with yours, and I'll meet you back up in just a second. Okay, so now we're on to our last stitches here, and we're back in our corner again. So this is where we started here, and we're going to work right back into that same corner, and we're going to put 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 3, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of our first chain of 3 here to close, just like that. You can cut off on that one. I'm going to leave mine on, okay? But what you need to do is make another granny square exactly like this one, because we need a front and a back for our pouch, okay? So you're going to make one exactly like this one. If you need to rewind the video, you can, and just redo this exactly the way that we did it. And then when you do your second one, you want to leave your yarn on your project. You don't want to cut off. So when you finish your second one, leave your yarn on, leave your hook there wherever it is, and then we're going to come right back together, and I'm going to show you how to place these together and how to finish it up. Okay, so now you should have 2 squares all finished. You've got one that's been cut off and it's fine, and then you've got another one where your hook's still in it with the yarn. So what I want you to do is flip this one over just like this. So you've got this facing out and you've got that facing out, and we're going to line these up exactly just like this here. And so for this is my corner here, and this is where my stitches are going to start right here. So I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to go right back into this place where we just stopped, did our slip stitch into, right there. And then I'm going to find the first spot over here. So right after our corner, this double crochet right here, we're going to work into the top of that, and we're simply going to pull through for a single crochet. And then you're just going to line up your work going under both loops of each side, just like this. And we're going to do single crochets all the way down and around. So go through and make a single crochet, lining everything up just like this. And so then when we get to our corner, because we still want to keep a corner look to this, we're going to go right into here and work 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to work single crochets going all the way up this way. Then when you get to the corner, you work 3 single crochets again, and then work all the way up this way. Remember to leave one side open. So this side up here, we're going to leave open. So I'm going to just go across here, do my 3 single crochets here, and then come back up. And then I'm going to meet you right back here where we end on this corner and show you exactly what to do next. So I'll see you back in just a minute. Okay, so we've single crocheted all the way around and we've got this open up here. So this is important. Right now, you probably would have wanted to try to put 3 single crochets into here, but that's not what we're gonna do, okay? We stopped over here, single crocheting here, at the same place we stopped over here, right after this corner here. So we're going to go into this corner and we're going to make a slip stitch, okay? So go into this corner and make a slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 3, and then you're going to put 2 more double crochets into this space. So you've got 3 double crochets there now. Then you're going to go into your in between these next groupings of 3 double crochets, and you're going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to go in between these 2 groupings here and you're going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to go into your next one and put 3 double crochets. So you're just going to keep doing this all the way around, putting 3 double crochets in between all these spaces. So when you get over here to this right here, I'm going to meet you back up in just a second and show you how to work that too, okay? Okay, so now we're over here at this corner right here. All you're going to do is just like we did before, you're just going to put 3 double crochets into there. 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to turn, and right into this corner, you're just going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to go right over here and just keep working 3 double crochets in between each of your pieces here. So in between this grouping and this grouping and this grouping, just keep putting the 3 double crochets. When we get back to this other corner, you're going to do the same, just put 3 double crochets and then join, but I'll be back in just a minute to show you how to close it off. Okay, so now we're back at this other corner right here, and we're just going to put 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, and 3. And then you're just simply going to join to this first chain that we did, the first chain of 3. You're going to join to the top of that and put a slip stitch just like that. Okay? And then we're going to be working right into here, into this space. So we're not going to slip stitch over or do anything. We're right where we need to be because we're going to work some V stitches around now. And this is where we're going to put our little rope through to pull it to make it a pouch. So this row is important. You're going to chain 4, 2, 3, and 4. And right into the same spot, you're going to put a double crochet. So technically, you've got a V-stitch because the chain of 4 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. But now you're going to go into this next space. So again, we're working in between these clusters, You're going to go into this next space, put a double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. Then you're going to go into your next space, put a double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. And into your next space, work a double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. And into your next, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So you're working these V-stitches all the way around in between where you have your clusters, okay? So just keep doing that in each one all the way around, and I'll meet you back up in just a minute. Okay, so we just worked our last V-stitch here, and now we're going to join to the top of our first chain of 3 here. Well, actually it was a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to go into the top of the third one. So count up 1, 2, 3, and then into there, you're going to make a slip stitch. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut this off now, and we're going to bring in our light blue color. So just cut off enough to work in, just like this. And right where we just ended, where this is, right in between there is where we're going to bring in our green, or blue-green, the light blue. So right into here, we're going to bring this new color in, and we're simply going to work another round of V-stitches. So I'm just going to bring that in. I'm going to work over these ends as I go along. So I'm going to chain up 4, 2, 3, 4. That counts as a double crochet and a chain 1, and I'm going to go right back into the same spot and work another double crochet. So that's our first V-stitch. Then we're going to skip over this V-stitch and go between this one, and we're going to make another V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Then we're going to skip over this V-stitch, go in between the next 2, put a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Again, skip over this V-stitch, go in between the next 2, put a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. So just keep doing that all the way around, and when we get close to the end, I'll meet you back up in just a second. Okay, so we just worked our last V-stitch here, and just like the round before, we're going to count up 3 on our first chain of 4, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to join with a slip stitch, just like that, okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to be working inside the V's, okay? So in this chain 1 space from our V, that's what we're going to be working into now. So I'm going to go right over into this V. So where we just slip stitch, I'm going to go inside this V stitch right here, and I'm going to make a slip stitch so that I can get right into the middle of that. First, I'm going to do a chain 1, and that counts as my first single crochet. Then I'm going to go back into this space again, into the middle of the V stitch, and I'm going to work a half double crochet. And then I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to chain 3. And then I'm going to make a picot stitch. So counting down 1, 2, 3 into the third stitch, I'm going to make a slip stitch. Then I'm going to go back into this V stitch and make a half double crochet. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to make a single crochet. Okay, so it looks like this. Then I'm going to go jump over into the middle of my next V stitch. I'm going to work a single crochet. Then I'm going to work a half double crochet. Then I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 to the bottom of that chain of 3, and I'm going to make a slip stitch to make a picot. And then I'm going to go back into this space, work a half double crochet, go back in, work a single crochet. Okay, so it looks just like that. Then I'm going to go into the middle of my next V stitch, and I'm going to go into there and I'm going to make a single crochet. I'm going to make a half double crochet. I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3, and into the third chain from the hook, I'm going to make a slip stitch, which will make a picot stitch. Then working into the same V-stitch, I'm going to make a half double crochet and then a single crochet. Then I'm going to jump over into the middle of this V-stitch, and again I'm going to make a single crochet, a half double crochet, then I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3 into this third stitch. I'm going to make a slip stitch. Then I'm going to half double crochet back into that V-stitch, and then I'm going to make a single crochet back into that V-stitch. So that's what it looks like, just making a kind of lacy looking thing here. So I'm going to keep doing this in the middle of all these V-stitches all the way around, okay? And then when we get back to the end, I'll meet you back up in just a second. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. It looks like we've got a little crown going on here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to join here. I want to show you how to close. So we did our last little group here, and we're going to join right to the top of this first chain that we did, that chain 1, and we're just going to make a slip stitch. And now we can close off. Leave enough to work in. Pull through with a chain 1. And ta-da, isn't that beautiful? So now I'm going to show you how to make the little string that closes this purse up. So you're going to basically chain enough where it can double, and then you have just a tiny bit over. That's the rule for all these little pouches and kind of grab bags that you make. And leave a good piece hanging at the end, because I'm going to show you what to do with that as well. So now we're going to just chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 59 and 60, okay? And then you can cut off, leave a long piece on the end, and then pull through. Just chain 1 and pull through, and it will knot, okay? Now we're going to put it onto a darning needle. Cotton yarn can be hard to get into a darning needle. A bigger one would definitely be better. This happens to be the one that I have right here. I did not bring my big one into my desk, but anyways, I got it on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to feed this through, and where we're going to feed it through at is where we did, remember I told you with the off-white where we did this V-stitch, that's where we're going to come in at with these. And I'm just going to go right in here to the corner, right in the middle of this V-stitch, and I'm going to go through, and I'm going to go out here. And then again, I'm going to go through and go out here. So I'm going through the V-stitch and coming out the other side. Again, going through the V-stitch and out the other side. And this likes to catch, no big deal, just pull it through. And through the V-stitch, out through the other side. So this is the way that I did it. I want to make sure that I'm not going through my yarn. I'm just going through the work itself. So, because if you go through the yarn, it's going to get caught. So just trying to make sure that doesn't happen. And then you're going to go right through where you first started with this. So right where you see this coming out where you first started, you're going to go behind that and pull through right there, okay? And so they're both coming out of the same space there, just like that. And then when you pull tight, this is what it looks like. Just like that, okay? And so then what I did for the bead, I'm going to put both of these onto my darning needle. Just like that. And then I'm going to go through like this. And I'm going to pull it up through even these pieces of yarn here, okay? And I want it just where it's close, but not flat up against it. So I don't want it like that when I'm going to go to knot it. I want it to be a little bit out like this, okay? And so then what I'm going to do is I can take my darning needle off now, and you can knot it right up close to where your bead is, okay? So I'm just going to go right up here, And this is why you need a little extra, you know, chain, why I went to 60, because you want some to work with so that you can knot it. And then you're just going to pull this through and make a pretty little knot. Okay. And then what you're going to want to do, and this is going to seem weird because you went through all this trouble to make this even, but right down here, we're going to just cut off right up into the yarn, right about there. Okay. And then all you're going to do is you're going to pull this end where it's going to knot, just like that. And then you're going to pull this end where it's going to knot, just like this. Okay, and one little piece fell out. You might hit a spot where it wants to come undone. Just stop it and try to grab at the other side, okay? So after you've pulled that off, you can cut off at the ends. And look at that. And then you can just take your bead like this and pull tight. And then you've got a beautiful little pouch just like this. Just make sure that you work in all your ends. There were some ends there that I didn't work in for the sake of my video, but especially if you're gifting this and stuff, you want to make sure that you work in your ends. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you need any help or anything, don't hesitate to ask. I'll see you soon, guys. Happy crocheting. Bye-bye.